Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today to share with you this grid layout. This is a breaking out of the box grid. So I have already used the mixed media. You can see that I used the Seafoam butter stencil from the Craftwork TCW through a Tim Holtz stencil. So I had actually wanted to do some foiling with these stencils, and I had bought the Brutus Monroe foil reactive embossing powder, which is really cool, but I can't find an embossing ink. I'm probably going to have to buy the Brutus Monroe embossing ink in order to make this work, because it all just keeps melting. Either that, or I'm going to have to decrease the intensity of my foil laminator, which I've done a couple of times but still doesn't work. So this is a grid layout, but what I love about this is that it is created with these journal pieces from Simple Stories' fabulous collection, as well as these tags. And so I am using them to create boxes or right angles, because they're not just boxes. Well, they are boxes, but they don't all intersect and aren't rigid columns, so there aren't three straight columns, nor are there three straight rows in the layout. And so all the papers are pretty much different sized, and there's a little bit of overlap, which is breaking out of the box and breaking that rigid grid. So I'm going to use a couple of the journal pieces. I'm going to use a couple of the tags, as I have here. And I'm sorry that the camera jumps, but when I use my guillotine, I guess I like a little bit of force with it, and that just kind of makes the camera jump there. So I had already done that ahead of time, the embossing with the stencil butter, and let that dry so that I could create this video for you. I do actually have a video of it. I just wasn't sure where to insert it into this process video. So if you really want to see that, I can absolutely show it to you. But I love the little bit of shimmer that it adds. It also adds a splash of black, because you can see the bucket that we're holding the candy, the Halloween candy, and then the table, it's our coffee table that the pumpkin placemat is on, are in black. And so it provides a nice contrast to that soft pink and the sort of ivory off-white that are in the rest of the collection. I am not really an ivory off-white kind of gal. I like white. I like a crisp white. And so I like to mix white background paper with that sort of more organic muted color of the off-white. So I have the floral bits from the fabulous collection, and I'm sprinkling those in. And then I also have these it's autumn, I think it's Autumn Wishes dies from Spellbinders. I absolutely love these. And so I'm just pulling cardstock from my stash. I actually honestly have no idea what color cardstocks these are, because I've cut off the branding strip, and I don't know the colors, literally just pulled from my stash. But the yellow matches with the yellow of that full moon on the top left there, and then the green just brings in a little bit more color. I tried to coordinate it with that green that is in the stem of and the leaves of the pumpkins there. So I'm cutting a ginkgo leaf, and then a few others. Again, they're more fall, but October and Halloween happen in fall, right? So putting a little bit of that in, again, partly to pull in the yellow, and then also just to break out of that box. And so you can see where I've got them as a footer down the bottom of the page there. I still really want to do that, and I want to incorporate the acorns and the pumpkins and some of the other things that are in that metal die set, and I will absolutely do that at some point, but it definitely spurred a great idea. So instead, I think I'm going to put the title down there. That's going to finish off the grid. And I do that off camera because I actually hadn't chosen a font, and I needed to make sure that I chose a thicker or something that was going to extend all the way across to create that square with the broken edges. So I've committed to the placement of all of these things, and now I am just going to adhere them down. I am going to use a We Are Memory Keepers multi-hole punch there to get that hole in. I love that thing. It's heavy and it's kind of bulky, but it does a great job of getting holes cut for me, and I do a fair number of tags. And I have a couple of ripped edges here, so you can see I've got that top right, sorry, is ripped, and then I ripped this edge as well, which you won't see a lot of, but it just adds a little bit more of an organic feel, and I think it also adds to the breaking out of the box there. So I love the black tag with the ghost holding the flower. Again, it just adds that little bit of contrast to the lighter things that I've got going on the layout here. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Really, this layout is only created with 3 pieces of pattern paper and my 2 photos, and then all of these other fun embellishments that kind of add to the theme of Halloween night. So this was kind of a, I'm not going to say boring, but an uneventful Halloween night, really. We left the light on to indicate, you know, that come we have candy to the trick-or-treaters. And we really only had a trickling of candy of that basket there. It's not a very big one. I think we only gave out about half of the candy. My kids are older, so they do not trick-or-treat. One's at college. Who knows? He does dress up for Halloween. He was a carrot last year. And my daughter dressed up for school, and something that she did for school, but not on Halloween night itself, and she's too old to go trick-or-treating. We have a law here that you have to be under the age of 14, I think. So, and it was a school night. So that's what this page is about, the simplicity of our Halloween night. The close-ups are to follow. I hope you enjoyed this process video. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.